But yeah, astral projection, out of body experiences, and what happens after this life. It's so much that people don't know or are not aware of. And I just like, I wish people would get out of body more often or use their visuals for creation just to see the difference. Like, for me, I'm still learning on how to put things in a perspective and, like I mentioned in the video I made today, but out of body experiences, astral travel, astral projection, lucid dreaming, dreaming, visualization, quantum jumping, and other things, eventually it goes into one and sort of the same. Like, it's not all the same. It doesn't mean like it's all same thing. No, there are differences. But if people were able to experience one or the other in a way where even this visualization, if they could use it for something and get the advantages, not just like to daydream, not to just create the scenery and like, oh, that feels good, nice, and that's it. But for more, I don't know, getting in contact with someone. A lot of us like, oh well, I wish like we would like have a contact with aliens. I wish they would just show up. And that scenario is so unlikely because, okay, well, look through your window right now and just think, where are they gonna land? Like, okay, they show up. Where are they gonna land? And how are they gonna talk? Like, they don't talk in English. It's more telepathic, but let's say, yeah, they land. And it's Grace. Or someone weird. And they're like, hello, like, they're gonna look weird. We're not used to seeing them. Most people are scared. Like, I know my grandparents would see them, they're gonna have a heart attack or something. It's like, what the hell? Get the shotgun. What are these guys? And if they're just gonna say like, well, we're here to help humans, we're gonna get you out. It's the extraction. And then government's like, they're talking about abduction. No one wants to get like, where are you taking people? Like, you're not saving them. So much gonna go in conflict, and that scenario is very unlikely. But people go in deserts by thousands and like do these events of contacting ETs and like seeing UFOs and oh look, light in the sky and little dots, and that's about it. That's like as satisfying as it can get for most people. Well, your visualization, your ability to sort of like visualize and think of the scenery and be there, the perception, like, I'm still exploring the English language, I'm still trying to learn, but let's say hallucination and illusion, and then all of these things with lu, like in English etymology, it starts with L-E-U-K, but lu means light. It's all about perception, it's all about seeing. So everything around us, even if it's delusion, it's what we're seeing. And it goes into, well, how do you describe reality? It's all about, like, by our definition, it is our, perception, like all of these, like, okay, I can see, I can hear, I can smell, I can touch, and it's all of our perception is interpreted by the nervous system. Great. Well, more people, different people, have much better perception, and they can see beyond physical. To them, talking to someone that they can hear and see around them is real as can be. For them is their reality. If someone can't see them, like, oh, you're delusional, you're just thinking shit up. Well, no, they're experiencing it 100%. And people who can visualize, I've met so many people who are maladaptive daydreamers. That's the label we're going to put on them today. But, boy, they can see the surroundings. They can visualize, think of a place, be there. And not just like, like daydreaming, like, oh, I'm going to think of this and that's about it. Like, no. They're fully there. They can interact with the surroundings. They can touch leaves on the bush and like, oh wow, like it's so freaking real. Like I can feel it. And they can have a little cut and everything else, and it's gonna be full experience over there in their little reality, their little visualized world. But they're fully out. It's an out of body experience. There's consciousness shifting into that realm. So when they're there and they have perception and they feel everything, to them it's real because their brain says, hey, I can perceive everything, I can touch things, I can smell things, I'm there. It is real. Well, great, so like, there's a lot of these conflicts with what is real and everything else, and eventually it's all our imagination. It all starts from seeing things, from my perspective, and like, I'm still exploring the subject and I can be completely wrong to put it in that way. But, that being said, a lot of people that go into deserts that want to like, oh, contact ETs and talk to aliens, well, literally think of a place like your own little reality. Where would you like to talk to this alien guy or someone, right? And just what would that place look like if you were to have a conversation with an ET right now? So for some, it's like going to be the room. For some, it's going to be like, oh, well, I would just like a nice little, let's say, office room or a couch or something. Like, it's just like a perfect place to have a conversation with those beings. And once you have your visuals, once you're exploring that place, once you're like there visually, you can sort of see everything. Maybe even like, oh wow, the couch is pretty soft and nice. Cool. And I can feel the cushions and everything else really good. And so for those people that have that more perception than others, and it is a trained muscle, everyone has this. You just have to work it, use it more, and you're definitely going to have it all. So once you start using it more, think of an ET that you would like to talk to. Instead of going into the desert and paying thousands of bucks and just like, okay, I'm going to rent a hotel and look into the sky and do something and hopefully someone will come and I'll see the lights in the sky. Great. No. Like literally think of what kind of ET would you like to talk to? What are they all about? Some people have sort of like in out-of-body experiences contacted reptilians that are not that bad. They're actually good. They're actually nice. So like any kind of life form that you are interested in talking to, you think of it in that space. If it's like, fuck ETs, I want to talk to someone I love, go for that too, but you don't have to go too much. It's just, okay, think of that being in that space, their beingness. What are they all about? Their core, the essence. Not the looks, not necessarily the looks, because you can invite the looks, and a lot of beings are used to having other bodies and shapes and forms out there, and they will try to meet us in the middle by what we're used to seeing. A lot of these ETs, they teach us and they give us the ideas and knowledge by concepts that we will have an easier time understanding. Even when I get out of body and when I do sessions with people, a lot of things what I'm getting is just tons of visuals. I'm seeing things. It's really hard to put it in words and explain it normally. Like I have a really hard time, like, how am I going to explain this? I have understanding of what happened, I see it, but to put it in words for people will be harder. So for me, it's a lot of visual understanding. Other people might be more sensory, might be by hearing. You will get out of body, or let's say you visualize, and all of a sudden your knowledge comes by hearing someone talk, and they will talk to you and teach you. And a lot of times it's just going to be the downloads of information and knowledge. So with this ability, like literally, you can think of any being, and again, the essence. Let's say you want to meet like someone you were working with in your past life, a good one. What are they all about? What would describe them? Like, why would you decide to be with them? And let's say, okay, well, they're really intelligent. They care about life. They want to, let's say, elevate consciousness, help people who are stuck and are into reincarnation traps and everything else, like get them out of them. And this group that does it, like you define their essence, what they're all about, you think of them, and invite this being into that little place you have created. And of course, you being the god, and the same as creating video games or something else, you can be the programmer, so you set the rules for that realm and who can enter that place. So you can of course like think of, okay, no entities, no beings that are gonna mess and lie and everything else, they're not allowed, it's gonna be your own scanning, so it's gonna be protected. But then you can sort of define who can be in that space and just invite them. And here it is. There's that being. Sort of like being okay in their looks that you can confront, and then you can talk to them. Like think of various questions to ask, and also think of the best way you can sort of like get the information. For me, it's visuals. For other people, it can be like, pure knowledge and knowing. Like all of a sudden they will just know more. And a lot of you probably have experienced how all of a sudden you hear something, like you even hear me talking, and you have this like inner lie detector, inner bullshit detector. And you hear me talk and like you can say it's all bullshit, or damn, I have never experienced that in this life, but I know it's true. Damn. Like you listen to some people and it will just sound like the core truth that you know and understand deep inside, even though you have never heard it. Like, oh, I don't know if it's really real, but I can totally agree with that. And you will have this thing. So with these beings that you talk to, you can sort of like identify when they're going to say something to you. You have this inner lie detector and a bullshit detector that will tell you if what they're saying is real or not. And you can definitely sort of relate, get information, learn, or sort of like, okay, just like I just kind of invited like a weird being. Now what do I do? So with these, like, I'm learning of a much easier way for people to contact beings they want to talk to and get something out of it instead of, going places in the physical body and paying a lot of money and other things. It's literally, for me, it right now all ends up to visualizing, getting into that place and talking to beings. I've been guiding quite a few people to do it, and I've seen them do it successfully. Like, I was just so surprised where one of my, I don't know, like, I would call him a friend, like, we've talked, like, we had 30 hours or more hours of work together, and it's been, like, working on his life, his physical body, and just taking care of earthly issues, so to speak, and all of a sudden, like, he talks like, hey, well, I would really like to talk to this being that I know I was with in a past life. And like, I'm like, can you see stuff? Like, how are your visuals? And he's just like, yeah, it's pretty good. Like, it's okay, it's decent. So we end up with, okay, well, think of that place. We do the usual, remove anything from your space that might get in the way. So entities and the beings, like giving them permission to leave, using the little box methods. So like, there are tons of tools and ways to do it, but for me, like, okay, this is just like basic general, anything from your space needs to be removed currently that might get in the way. Next, think of a place and visualize the place you would like to be at, and talk to that being, and then invite the being in, and then you talk to them. So I've seen him successfully do it, I've seen others successfully do it, and it's like, it's so simple. It's so simple, like all the things in life that are seem to be so fundamental and having such a massive impact in life. People are like, okay, well, how do I get better? It's like, breathe, control your mind and what you focus on, and visualize. Like, literally, like, simple things like that. Like, to me, it reminds, like, a lot of people have a goal or something they want to achieve, and in Kung Fu terms, or let's say martial arts, sometimes they're just, like, 4 to 5 or 3 key fundamental moves that you're gonna do, and you can win any fight. And people are like, keep doing that fundamentals, and they're like, they get bored. They think like, oh yeah, okay, but where's the good stuff? Show me the good stuff. And like, all of a sudden we need some magical, super powerful stuff, and work hard for it, and a super duper technique that no one knows about, or something you're gonna pay thousands of dollars like to get, and all of a sudden like, no, you don't need all that. Like, it's just like visualization. That's all. Like, like, so for me, there are tons of tools, and I'm not saying they're bad. I'm just like, okay, I found something easy that works for a lot of people. So, anyway, that's me. That's my world right now. But